Welcome everyone to Master Wealth and to an exciting financial literacy discussion. Today marks the beginning of a compelling two-part series diving deep into the world of financial knowledge. This video you're watching right now is just the first part, setting the stage for an enlightening journey. Make sure to stay tuned for the second part coming soon, where we'll continue unraveling the mysteries of finances. Your engagement matters. If you're finding this information valuable and want more content like this, don't forget to hit that like button to show your interest in this topic. And of course, subscribe to our channel for more insightful conversations, tips, and strategies to enhance your financial understanding. Let's embark on this educational adventure together. 1890. Patricia Clug and John W. Clug, worth $5 billion and recognized as the richest man in the United States by Forbes, divorced. Patricia Clug was awarded a significant sum of money, in addition to a number of properties. It was sufficient that she could have lived the rest of her life in luxury, but she wasn't able to hold that for long. Then, a moment came when she was even compelled to sell her jewelry and other items. In 2011, she was finally forced to file for bankruptcy as a last resort. So, what exactly happened to Patricia? Is the tale of every American who lives beyond their means, even while having relatively high wages, using credit cards up to their limit, and living paycheck to paycheck, did not set aside any money to cover unforeseen costs. But the question is it possible to maintain a comfortable standard of living despite having a little income? Are the risks associated with investing in the stock market for regular people manageable? The answer to all these questions lies in one thing: financial literacy. With financial literacy, all that is possible. The thing is, you don't need to inherit a lot of money or have a high salary to live a financially free life. The answer lies in managing your finances better and efficiently. And how one can do that? That's what this video is all about. This financial literacy comprehensive video will help you to understand why you need to consider being financially literate, and will delve into a number of categories and numbers into your basic everyday financial living, the basics of debt, and understanding just sort of what credit card debt means. We will cover all that, so make sure to watch the video till the end to understand the different financial stuff that really can seem very basic, but clearly is not. Well, financial literacy starts with the need to worry about your spending and the worry about whether or not you will be able to accomplish your goals when you retire. If you want to be financially literate, there are 4 aspects of personal finance that you need to be aware of and properly manage. Let us discuss those that begin with our income. Now, most of you will think that you already have an idea about income. But again, it is much more than just a few bucks in your hand periodically. You can think of it like your personal stream of golden coins. But instead of coming from a cave of wonders, it comes from your hard work and savvy skills. And the first rule of Financial Literacy Club talks about income a lot. Because, my friends, knowing your income is like knowing the secret menu at your favorite burger joint. It can get you the best bang for your buck. Now, let's take a look at Joe's jovial journey to maximizing income. Joe is your average guy, but he's got dreams bigger than a giant beanstalk. And he knows the first step to climbing that stalk is understanding the dough that's coming in. Joe's a barista at Spill the Beans, the busiest coffee shop in town. He's whipping out lattes with the precision of a surgeon and the grace of a ballet dancer. His boss notices, and bam! Joe's got a raise. Why? Because he's added more foam to the cappuccino of value. He's become the cream of the crop. But Joe's a smart cookie, the kind that goes perfectly with a cup of Joe. He realizes that income isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. So, he starts learning about the law of comparative advantage. It sounds like something you'd expect in a treaty, but really, it's about playing to your strengths. Joe's not just good with coffee, He's a people person. He remembers every regular's order and story. This skill makes him stand out like a peacock in a henhouse. Joe's boss starts having him train new employees because Joe's got a knack for it. It's like the Yoda of the coffee world, small but big in wisdom. This, my friends, is Joe adding extra shots of value to his work. And that's the first requirement for gaining that extra income you need for a financially free life. Here's a little joke to lighten the beans. I mean, why don't secret agents retire? Because they love their jobs. They always say, "I'll be back." Just like our buddy Joe, he's always on the lookout for more ways to learn and earn. And speaking of earning, remember the age-old saying, it's not about the hours you put in, but about what you put into the hours. That's Joe all over. He could blend in, sure, but he chooses to stand out like a lighthouse in a fog of mediocrity. Now, imagine if Joe took his passion for coffee and started a blog. He writes about the difference between Arabica and Robusta, the proper milk-to-coffee ratio for a latte, and the art of the perfect foam. People start tuning in. They love his simple, down-to-earth chats about beans and brews. Joe's blog starts generating ad revenue. That's Joe's new income stream, trickling in like a fresh brew on a Monday morning. He's not just making money, he's making more money while he sleeps. That's passive income, my friends. Like having a golden goose in your backyard. Now, this is financial literacy at its finest. It's not just about counting your coins. It's about making your coins multiply like rabbits. Smart, right? And to seal the deal with a cherry on top, let's pull in a quote from the master moneymaker himself, Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Joe's taking these words to heart, and so should you. In this story, Joe turns his job into a gold mine, all by being a bit savvier than the average Joe. He found what he did best, and did it so well that his boss couldn't help but notice. That, my friends, is the symphony of income played to perfection. So, take a page from Joe's book, play to your strengths, be the unicorn in a field of horses, and watch as your income stream turns into a river, maybe even an ocean. Who knows? With enough smarts, hard work, and a sprinkle of humor, you might just be the next sultan of financial literacy. And that's how you can think and make income. Next part of financial literacy is what everyone loves to hate: expenses. You know the cash that flies out of your wallet faster than a superhero in a hurry? Yes, we're talking about the money that goes bye-bye as soon as your paycheck says hello. Well, let's break down expenses, which many also call the necessary evil. Imagine you're at a party and your money is like the snacks on the table. Your expenses are the guests gobbling them up. Now, you want to be a good host. But if you let your guests eat all the snacks, meaning your money, you won't have any left for the next party. That's why tracking your expenses is as important as a superhero keeping an eye on the villain. So, what's the superhero tool we need for this mission? A budget. It's like having a financial sidekick. Budgets are like gym memberships. Everyone gets one at some point, but actually using it? That's the real workout. Let's take a look at another hero for our financial literacy saga: Betty. Betty's a graphic designer who loves two things: creating art and buying fancy coffee. She earns $3,000 a month, but her magic number for expenses is $2,500. Betty's gotta pay for her art supplies, rent, and yes, those lattes that keep her going. The first rule Betty follows is keeping the fixed expenses lower than the income. That's the financial version of eating your vegetables before dessert. And let's be honest, nobody wants to live on a dessert-only diet. Same goes for spending more than you earn. Now, Betty uses the 50-30-20 rule like a pro. She's got it down to a science, just like how she knows her coffee-to-cream ratio. 50% of her income goes to the must-haves. That's rent, utilities, and art supplies. Basically, if it keeps a roof over her head and allows her to create her masterpieces, it's included here. So, in case of her earning $3,000 a month, $1,500 is reserved for this portion. The remaining 30% goes into the war chest for future battles, paying off debt and saving. Think of it like Batman's gadget fund. You always want to be ready for what's coming. Now, Betty has made some clever decisions, and this 30% portion is directly transferred to her savings account every month when her account is being credited. So, it's all automatic, and she doesn't need to count money and keep them separate. The final 20% is for the fun stuff, the jazz hands over her budget. This is for concerts, those fancy coffee treats, and maybe a cape if she's feeling extra heroic and all this. What many people do wrong is they don't stick with this 20% and then have to cut money from the other two portions. So, it's very important that your fancy treats, new items, shopping, etc. don't exceed this 20%. Betty knows if she spends like she's got a money tree, she'll end up playing financial catch-up, like a dog chasing its own tail. Not a good look. Right now, if you don't follow any budget, what will happen? You see, not budgeting is like going on a road trip without a map. You might have fun for a while, but you'll probably end up lost, or worse, at a dead end. People without a budget often live life in a rearview mirror, paying for yesterday's fun with today's money. It's like buying a jet ski on a whim. Sure, it's all waves and high fives at first, but when the bills roll in, that jet ski is like an anchor dragging your finances down to Davy Jones' locker. There's a lot of stress related to these financial missteps. Living without a budget can be as stressful as trying to thread a needle while riding a roller coaster. It's all ups and downs and mostly screams. Financial guru Dave Ramsey says, a budget is telling your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. And let's face it, nobody likes playing detective with her own bank account. When Betty sticks to her budget, she's living life like a superhero, flying toward the horizon, always moving forward. With each smart financial choice, she feels less like she's wearing a money straight jacket and more like she's donning a cape of freedom. So that's why expenses aren't the villain of our financial literacy story. They're just part of the plot. By taking control with a budget, we can all have a blockbuster ending to our financial saga, where the hero, that's you, lives happily and comfortably ever after. Next time you check your bank account, remember, be the Betty. Be the budgeting superhero you were always meant to be. Alright, income and expenses are one side of the coin of financial literacy. To achieve financial freedom and be financially literate, you need to understand the other side too. That other side has assets and liabilities. Now, first of all, let's discuss assets. Now, contrary to common beliefs, assets are not just fancy cars and sprawling houses. They're everything you own that's got value. Think about it like your superhero gear. It's everything from your trusty savings account to that comic book collection you swear will be worth a fortune someday. Assets are like the seeds you plant in the garden of your financial future. Nurturing them promises a lush bounty over time. Assets, my friends, are the superheroes of your financial universe. They're not just static figurines on the shelf. They're more like Captain America's shield or Thor's hammer. They can actually grow in power, aka value, over time. We're talking about everything from your good old savings account, which might feel more like a sidekick right now, to the heavy hitters like property and stocks. Now, why assets are necessary is because of their growth trajectory. Imagine assets as trees in your money orchard. Some are slow growers like the sturdy oak. Think real estate. Others are more like bamboo, capable of quick growth spurts akin to stocks in a bull market. Over time, if tended well, these assets typically increase in value. It's like planting a vineyard. It takes time, but one day you'll be making your own wine. Now, even if you're in high school with a part-time job, you're already in the asset building game. Start by nurturing your savings. Picture it as watering your plants. A little bit consistently goes a long way. It's not about the amount. It's the habit of regularly contributing to your own asset pool. That $5 or $10 squirreled away regularly is like planting saplings that will one day be mighty redwoods in your asset forest. Let's meet Jordan, a high school junior who gets a part-time job and starts saving $10 a week. Fast forward, and Jordan's in college with a growing savings account. Thanks to the miracle of compound interest, we'll get to the superhero soon. Then Jordan lands a decent job and begins to invest, transforming savings into stocks, bonds, and maybe a little piece of real estate. Before you know it, our friend is not just surviving, but thriving with a diverse portfolio of assets that started with a humble $10 a week strategy. Now, here's where the magic happens. Savings morph into investments, and investments have this uncanny ability to multiply. Imagine turning your savings into a golden goose through investments. Sure, the goose may not always lay golden eggs, but over time, you're bound to get a decent omelette going. And when you're investing, consider diversification as your financial potluck. You wouldn't want a table with just chips, right? Similarly, you need a mix of assets. Some safe bets like bonds are your mashed potatoes. Not thrilling but comforting. Then you've got your stocks, the spicy wings that could either be a hit or require a lot of napkins. By spreading your assets around, you're making sure that if one dish bombs, there's still plenty left to feast on. Now, if you got confused in all that, just remember that saving is like storing acorns for the winter. The more you gather, the less fretful the cold months are. Investing is like having a fleet of ships out at sea. Some might face storms, but not all will sink, and many will come back laden with treasures. Compounding interest is like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering mass. The longer the hill, the bigger the snowball. Now, speaking of diversification in investment, you've got options from CDs to convertibles. In the investment world, index funds, they're the reliable family van getting you where you need to go without a fuss. ETFs, they're the sporty cars with a bit of zing and a capacity to make your portfolio quite zesty. And individual stocks, those are the motorcycles, thrilling, but you'd better have a good helmet. You would need to use your brain and do your research before jumping. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha himself, advocates for a simple yet effective approach. Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. This right here is the core of asset accumulation. It's like saying, eat your dinner before dessert. It ensures you've got the nutrients, savings, before the indulgence or spending. As we wrap up this insightful discussion on financial literacy, remember, this is just the end of the first half of our journey. Stay tuned because the second part will soon follow, delving deeper into the intricacies of managing finances and building a secure future. Your interest and engagement drive us. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative and subscribe to our channel to catch the second part as soon as it's released. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening exploration, and we can't wait to continue this conversation with you in the upcoming installment. See you soon. Cheers!